thank you for releasing me! Hello everyone, Artemu the Violet Wizard here, and today we're going to be playing a game that I have been excited to play for quite some time. Spyro the ReIgnited Trilogy. So yeah, this is kind of a second attempt I am making at this, as the previous session I had recorded for this game wasn't of the best quality. I was able to figure out what exactly went wrong, so hopefully we're going to have a much more stable time today. But yeah, very looking forward to once again playing this amazing game. Because the Spyro series is one that I have actually had quite a bit of experience with when I was younger. Despite never owning an original PlayStation when I was a kid, I still was exposed to the series through some secondhand means, and it's definitely a series of games I'm very fond of, and something that I've been very excited to play here for the channel. As you can see here, I've definitely had some extensive time throughout all 3 games within this package. And how things are going to go for this stream series is that we are going to be playing one of the games of this package, then we'll take a break for a couple months before jumping back in to play another of the games until we are completely done with the ReIgnited Trilogy. Oh man, it's going to be such a good time going through all these games again. Yeah, we're going to open up a brand new slot, and we're going to start at the very beginning with Spyro the Dragon. I can't wait for this. In the world of dragons.
Okay, rolling.
It's been peaceful here in the 5 worlds, or is it 6?
Foreshadowing.
For the Dragon's Age, we now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What
I
about
wish.
this Gnasty Gnorc character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Gnasty Gnorc is a simple creature.
Simple?
He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom.
No threat?
Besides, he is ugly.
Ugly? That does it!
Oof, they use the U word. Well, that's kind of petty.
Huh? Looks like I've got some things to do.
So yeah, very simple story to start off the trilogy here, but I think it gets the job done of giving you incentive to go around the worlds and save all the dragons. So yep, welcome to Spyro the Dragon. This is of course a remake of the PlayStation original, so it's seen a massive overhaul when it comes to the graphics. Like, this is a very good improvement over the original. Like, the Toys for Bob team did such a good job remaking this game from the ground up. But yeah, we're going to be playing our adventure as, of course, Spyro the Dragon. It's a pretty simple character, especially in his playstyle, but I feel he works very nicely as a playable character. You're able to move around and jump as you would standard a platformer series, but they make very good use of his dragon attributes in this game. But one, after you jump, you're able to fly in order to reach far off areas, which is definitely very helpful with these platforming challenges. We're just gonna quickly collect these gems up here. So yeah, the main collectible we have in this game are the gems that were mentioned before in the opening cutscene. There are tons of these things scattered throughout all the worlds, and we're gonna be going after every last one for 100% completion. Of course, finding gems on the ground is only one way to get these collectibles. You can also obtain them by beating these guys, the various enemies throughout the different realms. And one way you're able to deal with these guys is, of course, fire! You're just able to spit fire right at enemies in order to take them out. But that's not our only mean of attack, because we also have horns. When you mess with a dragon, you get the horns. You're able to do a charge attack, which is great at breaking obstacles and also for slamming right into enemies to deal damage. But definitely useful against these guys, which will try to run away from you and they obviously carry a lot of gems. So yeah, those are a few of the things that are going to be customary with our adventure throughout the game. Just exploring the many worlds and getting gems and beating enemies. But that's not the only collectible we're able to get in our adventure. Because as we saw in the cutscene, Gnasty Gnorc had turned all the dragons into statues. And in order to free these guys, simply have to walk up to them. And we rescued Nestor. Oh no, he's hot!
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the Artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Gnasty Gnorc? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
It's very nice we got one of our main objectives from that guy. So, throughout this stream series, there's a special thing that I want to do throughout playing this game. There are quite a lot of dragons that we're going to be rescuing all throughout these worlds. And in the ReIgnited Trilogy, every dragon you rescue has their own unique design. And for that reason, I want to play a little game with all the dragons we're going to be rescuing here. So we're going to be playing a nice rousing round of Smash or Pass with all of the dragons in the game. So yep, I'll be grading on the dragons on whether I find them desirable or not. Yeah, I feel like it'd be very entertaining to do that. And with that said, yeah, Nestor is a smash. Meanwhile, we got this dragon over here, Delbin.
Where's Gnasty Gnorc? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro. You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
Okay, first of all, smash. Second of all, we got ourselves some very nice advice from that dragon regarding this little dragonfly that's following us around. So, in the lore of Spyro the Dragon, every dragon has a dragonfly companion that follows them around and is tied to that dragon's life force. So as long as we have Sparks with us, we are able to sustain damage from enemies without having to worry about taking a lot of hits. But that obviously comes a price. The more hits we take, the more it will affect Sparks. And eventually, if we take too much damage, Sparks will disappear. And when he's gone, if we take a hit, we'll lose a life. So yeah, you definitely want to be sure to manage your health, and definitely want to keep those small little critters wandering around the worlds in mind, as they are going to be important for that. But yeah, for the time being, we're just going to go all around this first map and see what we're able to get. First of all, I want to show off the guidebook in the pause menu, which shows you all the various collectibles you need in order to finish up the world. In this instance, we first have the Artisan world, and we're making some good progress on the collectibles here. So with that said, hello Javier, welcome to the stream here. Yeah, 100% the game is definitely going to take a lot, but I've done it before, so it shouldn't be too much trouble until we get into some of the later worlds. Then it's going to be a bit of a hassle. Oh boy. But yeah, I definitely really enjoy this game, so it's not going to be too bad having to go after every single collectible. It's fine. So meanwhile, let's rescue Thomas.
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
It's very good advice there. Also, yeah, I think I'll smash Thomas. Alright, let's take out this Gnorc here and get all these gems he's hiding. So I didn't mention it before, but the various gems you collect, their colors indicate the value of the gem. So red ones are your basic 1 unit, while green ones are worth 2. I believe we collected a blue one a bit earlier. Those ones should be worth 3 points. So yeah, definitely pay attention to the colors of the gem you are collecting, as they are a strong indicator of just how far along you are to getting all the collectibles in a single world. That said, I believe that is almost everything on this section of the Artisan World. Just want to head over here. So I may have noticed those gateways with the letters in front of them all throughout the map. Those are the entrances into other levels that you can access in the main hub worlds. We'll be going into those in just a bit. I just want to gather every last collectible that can be found here in the Artisan World before we do that. It's got some regular chests containing some gems in them. You can break them open either with your fire or by charging into them. So, there's really no specific way to deal with that particular thing.
Cool flash. Do that again.
The Artisan's boss is through a portal in the Dragon Mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro. First, you must complete one of the other Artisan lands.
I'm not a big fan of this guy because he's eating melon, so that's going to be our first pass for this playthrough. Sorry, man, can't win them all. Alright, let's head over into this pathway here. This one is definitely important because at the end is something we will be needing for the future. So over this way, at the end of this corridor, we have the balloonist.
If you prove your worth by rescuing 10 dragons, then you may use this balloon to fly to a new world.
So yeah, in each world there is a balloonist who's able to transport you to the next world. You need to complete a specific objective in the game in order to be able to use the balloonist to go to the next world. In this case, we need to free 10 dragons here in the Artisan World to be able to move on to the next world. Santa can get a little interesting needing to go over the various tasks you need, as each world has their own specific objective you need to get through. But with that, we managed to get all the gems, and since we have rescued all the dragons as well, we're now 100% complete in our first world here. Yep, got every last collectible in the main hub of the Artisan World. So now it's time to go into the actual levels themselves. And this is where we're definitely going to be spending a lot of our time throughout this game. So, let us head into the first level, Stone Hill. Yeah, we'll be doing the water soon, Javier. Just want to save that for a bit later for reasons. Also, yeah, I like your comment regarding Sparks. Yeah, that is a completely different side of the franchise that we're probably not going to go a lot into, since I never played those games when I was younger. Alright, the Artisan Hub was a small taste of how things are going to play out here in Spyro the Dragon. Here in the main worlds is where a lot of the action is going to take place. Okay, never mind, the blue ones are actually worth 5, I forgot that. So throughout these worlds, you have a lot of gems to collect, as well as dragons that need to be rescued. And also a great deal of enemies to deal with, like these rams. I just like to charge headlong into them. They are really no problem at all for us. And yeah, just the bulk of the playthrough is going through all the worlds, collecting every last thing we can, beating every enemy, and just having a good old time through this. Really not expecting this to be too grueling for me. Alright, first thing I want to do here is jump down into this well. There's a few gems we can collect, as well as a dragon. So this is Gavin.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
Okay, that is an instant smash right there. I just love Gavin's design, how he has the barista motif and just his tattoos, and God, he's so hot. Anyway, we got this big box over here with a lock on it. Sadly, nothing we can do can open it, so we're gonna have to come back later. Let's ride the sparkles up here, and we're able to go back up. Alright, so quite a few pathways we can take here, so let's just pick a path and then start exploring through here. Alright, I can hear somebody laughing somewhere here. You definitely want to pay attention when you hear someone laughing. as that is an indicator about something that we are going to be needing to do here. So these shepherd enemies are a little bit of a pain. I like to get just close enough to them where I can breathe fire without having to worry about them whacking me with their staff. Meanwhile, we got these metal boxes here. Metal boxes cannot be broken by your fire breath, so you need to ram into them in order to break them open. So yeah, it's completely different to how things are in Pokemon, where in that series, fire actually melts metal. But, yeah, just gotta have a few restrictions as you're going through the worlds. Definitely keeps things very varied. Let's break open this box here for that gem, and I'm sure that's all the collectibles we need on this end. Alright, so let's go rescue this dragon. Gildus.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the jump button at the top of your jump, and try pressing the action button to drop down mid-flight.
Okay, that's a smash, mainly because I'm curious about what he can do with that giant paintbrush. But yeah, as he says, you're able to get better distance with your glide if you're able to start gliding at the top of your jump arc. Very useful if you are looking to navigate the worlds and try to get every collectible you can. It's definitely good advice there. So this is a part that I believe used to trip me up when I was younger. There are a few gems hidden around here along the edge of the castle, and just a little tricky just to spot these things. But it's really not too bad to grab them. Don't believe you're able to get on top of the castle, not like you even need to in the first place. Alright, time to talk about this guy. So, these laughing guys in the blue clothes are a thief, and they've stolen a dragon egg, which is another collectible we can get in the game. So, to deal with the thieves, you just want to charge at them, and when you are close enough to them, just want to breathe fire to take them out. And that allows you to collect the dragon egg. There aren't a whole lot of dragon eggs in the game compared to the other collectibles, so you don't need to worry about these things too much, but definitely want to grab as many of them as you can throughout the various worlds you explore. And again, you always know when a thief is near if you can hear them laughing, which is just a very strong indicator of what you need to do. Alright, this section of the map usually trips me up because it's quite a big open area. We're not able to go past these pillars here along the edges of the map. So it's not that big of a world to explore, but it can be a little confusing just trying to spot all the gems in this big open area. Luckily, the developers thought of that because there's a useful way you're able to track the location of the gems. So as long as you have Sparks with you, you are able to actually have him point in the direction of the closest gem, which is very good for you in order to be able to keep track of your progress throughout the worlds. Another useful thing about Sparks is that if you're just nearby a gem, Sparks collects it automatically, so you don't need to actually go up and touch it in order to be able to collect it, which is nice. Again, this only works if you actually have Sparks here, so definitely make sure that he doesn't take a lot of damage, as that can be very detrimental. That said, how about we go this way now? It's got some more boxes to break. And another ram. Boosh! I forgot to mention it, but those purple chests there actually contain extra lives. So, if you see one of them, definitely break them open. They're very useful. And let's save this guy, Aster.
After you've freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya.
Yeah, that's gonna be a pass for me, homie. But yeah, this platform with the return home above it is your exit from the world. You can also exit the level from the pause menu, but it feels a lot more cinematic to actually use the return home gate. So that's mostly how I'm going to be doing that throughout this playthrough. Over here in this secluded area, we got some more boxes to break. Oh, it's so satisfying when you just line up a charge and just take out a long string of boxes. It's so satisfying. Lindar. Oh, it's you!
Dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
Sepp Lindar is gonna be a smash for me. I really like his design, how he has all the clocks on him. You probably get the impression that he's a clockmaker because of that. But yeah, he also provides some good hints, as the platforms that you rescue the dragons on are also how you save your progress. Every time you approach it, the fairy will save your progress for you. The fairy actually has a canon name, as she's actually called Zoe. So it's nice that they have that extra detail in. But yeah, you want to jump past the return home point, as you have the secluded beach area, which has a lot of collectibles that you need to get, as well as a key. You can probably guess what the key is for. Whenever you find a key, that means that there is a special box in the stage that you need the key to open. And we saw one down here where we found Gavin. Just open the box here, and we have some more gems. And with that, we got all the collectibles here. We got all of the gems, we received, and we freed all the dragons, and we got the dragon egg, so we are all done with Stonehill. Just want to check the guidebook here. Yep, got everything we need. Alright, so let's return home and get ready for our next objective. Now, sadly, every time you do leave the hub world and return back to it from one of the levels, all the enemies do respawn. However, you don't need to worry about collecting any gems that you have previously lost. However, something that is nice about all these returning enemies, if you beat an enemy after you have collected their gem, they'll drop these silver orbs. And collecting enough of these orbs will give you an extra life. So that can be pretty helpful. Just take out a few enemies on your way to the next world, and you should be able to get some extra lives. It's definitely very helpful. Next up, let's head over this way past the hedge maze and go into Dark Hollow. I definitely like this area in terms of its aesthetic. This game is very pretty, and it definitely shows a lot of the time. But yeah, as you can probably no doubt tell from my tone throughout this stream here, this is a game I have a lot of appreciation and respect for, and the developers did a fantastic job recapturing the feel of Spyro from the original game into this remake. So I highly recommend picking this up for yourself if you have not experienced the franchise before. Definitely a lot of effort is put into it, and you're basically getting free games for the price of one if you're picking the ReIgnited Trilogy, so it's definitely worth it. This stage introduces some enemies with a very important gimmick, as these guys are carrying metal shields. You probably guess what those are for. You want to hop up here. We have another of those big chests we need to deal with. We also got this big guy. Ugh. If you get close to them, they will, of course, whack you. So just get close enough in order to breathe fire on them, and you're good. But yeah, these Gnorcs, as long as they have their shield in front of them, you're not going to be able to take them out with your flames. So you want to charge into the shield enemies to take them out, and then use your fire to deal with the big guys. Alright, we rescued Alban.
Oh, it's you. I wasn't sure if you'd escaped those annoying little creatures. Of course, they wouldn't bother me, but here's a hint. Their metal armor is fireproof, but a charge attack will take care of them.
Thank you for that, buddy. I feel like I'm gonna pass on you, but it's only a very brief pass. But yeah, you can see now that we've taken some damage that Spark has changed color to blue. If we take out the small enemies, they drop butterflies, which Sparks can eat in order to replenish his life. So yeah, whenever you see those small enemies and you've taken some damage, definitely want to take them out. It's good to restock on health after you have taken a big beating. Want to be careful here because we got small enemies around the big enemy. But if you just time your attacks correctly, you're able to get some good hits here. Also got these bonfires lit around this stage, which don't really do anything for you in the level, but I believe they're mostly there to provide a skill point, which is a very special collectible that you can obtain in this game. Skill points are something that I'm not going after in this playthrough, but I do want to make note of it, because skill points in most games are pretty useful as they can unlock some additional content for the game. But it's nothing I feel is like really major for us to get, so we're not going to bother going after all the skill points. I've just got a bunch of enemies here to take out, so let's that guy and you, and then we got the big enemy here to flame. Alright. So like this area, not only with its a mystic nighttime motif, this area also has a lot of bookshelves. Probably didn't really go into detail about this, but the various worlds all have a special theme to them when it comes to the locations and the dragons that you can find there. In the case of the artisan world, we have a lot of dragons that specialize in the arts, such as painting and stuff.
Big enemies like this Gnorc with the club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
I'm gonna pass on you, but that's some good advice. Alright, now that we dealt with that, so I believe there's only a bit left that we need to do here on this level. Yep, now we want to head down here to gather the rest of the stuff. So I love this guy has all that armor, except on his butt. So he just torches rear to take him out. I just love all the designs they have for the enemies. Like, the Gnorcs are a very standard looking enemy type, but they have a lot of personality to them. So I definitely appreciate that a lot. Ooh, got a really good view of his down under there. I believe this is the last dragon we need here, Oswin.
Spyro, wanna know a secret? Use the action button when you wanna zoom in and look around.
Oh, your secret's safe with me.
I feel like I will smash Oswin. But yeah, that's some nice advice. You're able to go into a first-person view in order to get a better look of your surroundings, which can definitely be helpful when looking for certain collectibles. Definitely keep that in mind. As things go on, a lot of collectibles are going to be hidden in a lot more elusive spots. So just being able to go into another perspective in order to find them is very helpful for us. Alright, now that we got the key, I believe there's only one place where we need to gather gems from, and that is right over here. There we go. It's always a pain when you're almost done a level, but there's that one gem you are missing, and you have to scour the entire stage just to look for it. It is such a pain. And we're probably gonna have those kind of moments as we're going about this playthrough. Alright, with that, we're taking care of another stage, and we can make our way on to the next one. This next one's gonna be very fun. Alright, so for this one, want to head this way over here. And all the way at the end, just head up this tower. And we'll be heading off into Town Square. Man, we're definitely making some good progress into this game already. And thankfully, I don't have to worry about the technical issues that I was going through when I was playing before last time. Alright, I definitely like this stage because, one, we have this beautiful twilight sky for this level. Also, music here is pretty dang good. The soundtrack in Spyro in general is very good. Definitely captures the feel of the stages and the intensity of them in a good way. Let's break open these boxes here and save Nils.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the right stick to get a good look.
Thanks, buddy. Oh no, he knocked over a statue! Yeah, that's gonna be a smash for that guy. So yeah, this stage has a lot of gliding that we're gonna need to do. Also, there's a lot of bulls here, as the stage is actually based on Spain, which is definitely a very nice aesthetic to it. So the bulls, if you just breathe fire on them, they can be defeated easily, but if you ram into them, they'll be temporarily stunned, and then you need to use fire on them. So these boxes here are special. If you breathe fire on them, a gem will jump out. In order to collect it, you actually need to jump up to grab the gem inside. So yeah, those ones are a little interesting. They definitely have a lot of different types of boxes that you need to break, which definitely gives the various collectibles a different feel for getting through them. Alright, here we have Devlin.
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing the jump button at the very top of your jump?
Yeah, we've already heard that, buddy. Also, he went out of his way to bake a cake for us. That's so nice. He's definitely on our smash list. So like here, we also have some Gnorcs that are dressed as matadors, adding to the Spain motif of this area. It's very good. And yeah, I like how we got some of the Gnorcs being chased by the bulls in this stage. It's very cool how we have these unique interactions between the various enemies here. Again, a lot of the enemy design in this game is so good, and it's all thanks to the original developers who had this vision. So yeah, while the remake of this game was developed by Toys for Bob, the original game was done by Insomniac, which are pretty well known at this point for doing a wide variety of games, such as the recent Spider-Man games, as well as Ratchet and Clank. And yeah, they definitely put in a lot of good work, and I'm definitely looking forward to trying out a lot more of their games going forward, as Spyro's pretty much the only series I really have from them in order to, like, get a good experience with. Here is Alvar.
Spyro, did you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg. Run, run! I'm getting a little winded.
Okay, on one hand, this dragon knows how to cook. On the other hand, he doesn't seem like he has a lot of stamina, so that's gonna be a pass. But I do like that guy, especially because as a kid, I really like the delivery of his line there where he's talking about the thieves that you need to hunt down to get the dragon eggs from. Just really loved his delivery in the original version. I was like, he's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg! Yeah, just good stuff all around. Right, this guy is a pain to deal with here. So I actually remember I had a pretty decent time taking this guy out in my previous stream session, which is quite surprising given how bad the performance of that stream was. Let's try to fix our mistake here. So just when that guy's jumping down, you want to breathe to take him out. And with that, we got our second dragon egg. I got a couple more collectibles to get on the top section of this stage, but we should be just about done here. So this box is special. It has a turbine on it, and you need to blow on the box repeatedly in order to get the gem out from it. So again, they include a lot of different ways you're able to collect gems in the stages.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. You can always check your progress by accessing the guidebook through the pause menu.
That's really not the design that I would expect from a dragon named 4. And sadly, that's going to be another pass from us. Sorry, buddy. It's not what I'm looking for in a dragon. Alright, so we should be just about done here when it comes to collectibles. Oh yeah, we're like missing one last thing. So just want to do a quick sweep around here. And yep, there's some boxes up here that we missed while we were chasing the thief. And that is everything that we needed in Town Square. Just a very nice stage. Just love the aesthetic of it. Has a lot of nice challenges to do. It's a very good stage. So let's head into the return home platform and head back to Artisans. Alright, so the only stages we have left to do here in the first hub is to go to the boss stage. However, there is one more stage that we are able to do here that is kind of a bit of a secret in this area. So over here by this fountain, you have these stones here in the water, and what you want to do is hop on each of the stones at least once. And doing so will cause that wall to fall down, revealing a hidden stage. There's actually a dragon later in the game that tells you about this secret, but if you just know it right off the bat, you're able to access it immediately. So with that said, let us jump into Sunny Flight. Ah boy, this is going to be a stage that is going to be very interesting to do. So this stage is our first example of a flight stage. So we have this small hub that we're able to explore, and we got various objectives that we're able to complete here. We have a limited time in order to accomplish our objectives, but by doing them all, you're able to get a substantial amount of gems. And for these stages, it's highly recommended to go after the various collectibles in a specific order in order to try to get the most optimal route throughout the stage. So, for these stages, I usually recommend going after the first thing you see in the levels. So, the first thing that captures your attention when you enter the stage are the trains. So I made that my first goal here. And then after that, I went into this tunnel here in order to get those gold chests. And then right next to this tunnel, we have some gateways we need to fly through. So yeah, the key to the flight stages are trying to find the most optimal route of accomplishing all the objectives, which can be a little tricky and will usually take a few attempts in order to get the right sequence down. But these are some pretty enjoyable stages in their own right, of just trying to get the best time you can of accomplishing these objectives. And of course, we got these Gnorcs in the biplanes we need to take out, and we will handle that as soon as we're done the gates. Now that we got 3 objectives done, just got these Gnorcs in their planes. So this one you gotta be careful, because some of them tend to hover near the water, and if you fall in the water, you will instantly lose the stage, so be careful about that. Ah, dang, missed you. What I recommend in this stage is try to get ahead of the targets, as it will make it easier in order to be able to destroy them. But yeah, with that, we managed to accomplish all 4 objectives. Which is good, because on the main screen here at the end, you're able to see all the various objectives you managed to accomplish. But in order to fully complete the stage, you need to accomplish all 4 objectives in a single run. That is where a lot of the challenge in these stages comes from. But I actually managed to get through that pretty well. Mostly because I had a lot of practice, considering that a few days ago, on my first attempt of these streams, we did not have a good time going through Sunny Flight because of our technical issues. But we were able to accomplish our objective here and managed to gather a lot of good gems. So with that, we are now done with Sunny Flight. We are almost done everything we can do in the Artisan world. There's just one last thing we can do. And ironically, it's one of the earliest things you have access to. So our next objective here is going to be the boss stage. In order to access this boss stage, you actually need to complete one of the other worlds. Doesn't matter which one, but once you complete another level, you're able to open access to the boss stage. So let's go right in to face off against Toasty. I really love the aesthetic of this level too. Just that big orange sky in the background was just such a great set piece for this moment. But yeah, this level is kind of interesting. It's also kind of tricky. So around this stage we have those shepherds we saw before, but we also have sheepdogs. These sheepdogs are some of the most annoying enemies in the game. They take 2 hits in order to be able to beat. And they are so annoying because they jump at you. And they can just really do a good job of stun locking you. Adding to that, there are very few small critters that we can beat in this stage in order to replenish our health. And there's very few checkpoints here as well. So getting for this stage is really tricky. Already took a little bit of a hit, so I'm a little worried here, but hopefully things will go a bit better, especially because we're actually close to the checkpoint. But yeah, between the shepherds and the sheepdogs, this stage is a pain. Don't even know if it's really worth it to try to charge the sheepdogs, especially because they have the shepherds close by. Let's take that guy out here. And I got some interesting artwork here in this level. You can see this area used to be a museum for the dragons before it got taken over by Toasty. Alright, but now want to head into this little alcove here. Gotta be very careful. We still got some dogs to deal with. Ugh, get burned, buddy. Alright. So took out all those guys, so now it should just be a straight road to the dragon we need to rescue here. Yeah, typically there's like one dragon that you need to rescue in all the boss stages. In this case, we got Nevin.
Gnasty Gnorc has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the artisan world.
Bring him on. I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. Toasty has many tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, I think that'll be a smash from me. But with that said, it's time to face our boss here, Toasty. It's got this big, ominous scarecrow motif here, which I definitely appreciate, even though he's kind of a pathetic boss. Yeah, sadly the bosses in the Spyro games don't tend to be the most complicated. And in the case of Toasty, he's really nothing special. Oh yeah, figured I might as well just try to charge the sheepdogs. It doesn't work. It's gotta breathe fire at them. I like after you get the second hit on him, he's revealed to actually be a sheep all along. Which I find very funny, especially because the stage is full of shepherds and sheepdogs. So having the boss actually be a sheep himself is pretty amusing. Especially because sheep are typically like prey animals in the dragon world. So actually seeing a sheep as the boss and allied with Gnasty Gnorc with the intention of getting revenge on the dragons, it kind of fits with the overall narrative. Even though he is a very pathetic boss, and not gonna lie, the other bosses in this game really aren't all that better. But we'll talk about that as we're going forward. For that, we have finished up this stage, and with it, we have accomplished everything we needed to do in the Artisan world. We could still beat up some enemies around here to try to get some extra lives, but besides that, we've done everything we needed. So the only thing left for us to do is go see the balloonist and make our way to the next world. Given the amount of time we're on this stream, yeah, we're just over 45 minutes. We definitely have plenty of time to go forward. So might as well get started on the next world right away.
Wow, I see you've been busy rescuing dragons, Spyro.
Yes, I have.
You may travel to the Peacekeeper's world if you like. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, you only need to rescue 10 dragons to be able to go to the next world, but I figured it might as well be best to finish up everything we can do in Artisan before going forward. And we are going to be doing the same thing for the rest of the worlds going forward as well. So, let's go off to the Peacekeepers. Now, it's probably a good time to mention here that from all the different things we're able to do in the Artisan world, that's pretty much all the main stuff that we're going to be doing throughout the rest of the game. Yeah, Spyro really doesn't get any upgrades to his moveset going forward. Besides a few level-to-level gimmicks, his moveset really doesn't change all that much. And the playstyle stays pretty static, all things considered, which, depending on how you typically enjoy your games, could be a good thing or a bad thing. But it's fine all around. Let's go ahead and rescue Titan. Good name right off the bat.
Welcome to Peacekeepers. Look how our treasure has been stolen and turned against us. Please, recover our treasure, Spyro.
Collect treasure. Got it.
Smash, smash, smash! Oh yeah, sorry, but God, that guy is such a cool design. But yeah, he gives us an indicator of our main objective in this stage. In order to move on to the next realm, we have to collect treasure. So we definitely want to be on the lookout for as much as we can. Which obviously we're going to be going after every last bit of treasure we can in the world anyway, so... But yeah, the Peacekeeper world. As its name would indicate, this is not an era of peace. In fact, this entire area, the dragons are at war with the Gnorcs. So we're going to deal with these guys. We have these cannons littered around the map. And you can actually use the cannons to blast the Gnorcs from a distance. It's also pretty funny how the Gnorcs themselves are using the cannons against you, but you can turn their own artillery against them. It's just so perfect. A great use of the assets in this game. Dry Canyon. We'll head over there pretty soon. Also love just you can use your fire breath on like all the different plant life you see to burn them. Really no reason to do so. It's just a cute little detail. With that said, we got a bunch more of these guys to deal with. So let us move this cannon and blast some more Gnorcs. Wow, really took that guy out back there. You're also able to blast these tents over there, which is definitely good for a few reasons. So I believe the Gnorcs will actually retreat into the tents in order to avoid fire from you. So I definitely want to keep that in mind here. Cliff Town. Ooh, that's an interesting stage, so I want to remember that for later. Yep, these guys will hide in the tents, which you can simply burn away. Hey, don't you moon me, creep. But yeah, I definitely like this stage. It has a cool motif with this area being a big battlefield. Definitely avoid that purple water, as that is poisonous. You can definitely see the impact that the Gnorcs have had on the environment due to their constant warring with the dragons. Just take this guy out here, and this cannon will be useful because we can use this to blast that rock formation, opening up the pathway forward. And we got this metal box over here that can be broken, allowing us to gather the treasure inside there. So definitely remember these cannons in some of the later stages, as they are very important for accomplishing our objectives here. I made some good progress clearing things out. Let's talk to the balloonist here.
This world is far away and very dangerous. Maybe if you find 1,200 stolen treasure, I'll show it to you.
So yeah, we're gonna need quite a bit of treasure in order to be able to head off to the next world, we're not going to the next world until we do everything we can in Peacekeepers anyway, but it's still something to keep in mind. Alright, let's rescue Magnus.
Hey, Spyro. Sparks the Dragonfly has been doing a good job protecting you. Make sure to keep him strong by feeding him lots of butterflies.
I love this guy's design so much. Yes, we're smashing him. Sorry, I can't help it. I love the dragon designs in this game so much. Like, the character designers for the ReIgnited trilogy did such a good job of capturing the different personalities that the dragons would have and making them feel like very distinct characters. Which is definitely good because in the original Spyro, they pretty much shared the same basic design. And besides a few quirks in their vocal delivery, there really wasn't much distinction between the different dragons. Here they do a good job with their personalities, and I feel it's all for the better. So over here we have a stage called Dr. Shemp. That's actually the boss stage of this world. So we don't have to deal with another world before going into that one. We could just go into it whenever we want. We're going to be saving that for later, though. So we still have quite a bit to do here and among the other worlds to explore. So the next place I want to go is actually over here. Now we cleared up this rock formation. We could jump over here to another flight stage. I remember that one actually being pretty good. So we'll definitely save that for a bit later. Got everything around that stage, so let's head over this way. So over here we have a shortcut back to the main section of this level. Which, yeah, we might as well grab the gems over here and then double back. Ugh. It's pretty nasty that I had to touch that goop, but it's okay. We can just take out the rabbits here to get some more butterflies for Sparks. Alright, so while we're going for the rest of the Peacekeepers world, I feel like now would be a good time to just talk about my history with Spyro the Dragon, as this game has quite an extensive history with me that I feel like would be nice to talk about. Just as soon as I collect this dragon over here, because I probably want to talk about him. Gunnar.
Well done, Spyro. Keep up the good work, and I know you'll fulfill your destiny.
Destiny? I just want to kick some.
Just toast those enemies and collect the treasure.
He's cool, but I'm gonna pass. His mouth is a little scary. Alright, now this piece a bit interesting. Want to try to get in front of him with this shallow pool. Just trying to kind of cut him off here. Ugh, really taking a beating here. Now. Oh god, we are already gonna die. Just let me go grab some extra health here. But yeah, I want to talk about my history with this game, as I do have quite a bit to say. So my first exposure to this game happened a long time ago, back when me and my older brother were in grade 3 and my younger brother was in grade 1. So at that time we had a babysitter, and after school she would take us over to her house in order to just hang out before our mom would come to collect us. Oh, yeah, we're pretty much dead here. Ugh. God, that jump's a little awkward to try to do. At least we have a key here, so we'll be able to open up a box the next time we see one. But yeah, after school, we would go over to her house, and she had a PlayStation, and it was the first time me and my brothers ever got to be exposed to that console, as well as the games on it. And we definitely played a lot of the games she had, mostly when it came to the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon series. So we definitely got a lot out of Spyro 1 and from Crash 3 among the games we would play at her place. And it was just very good. We spent a lot of time playing those games, and we absolutely loved them. And we made some excellent progress through them even when we were very young, which it's definitely very nice to be able to just immediately get hooked on a franchise at such a young age. It was very fun. And I still think about that babysitter from time to time and imagine what she's doing right now. Really haven't been in touch with her, so it'd be nice to catch up. Alright. But yeah, after that experience, I wouldn't touch the Spyro series again until much later when my family eventually got a PlayStation 2. And then the game where we finally got to experience the Spyro series for ourselves was with Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, which, if you don't know, is generally considered a very bad game. And yeah, looking back on it, it really wasn't all that good. But, I don't know, for the time, it was still nice to get to play some more Spyro content, so that was nice at least. Wait, let's head off into the next level, Dry Canyon. So definitely making some good time here. We already managed to complete the next objective we need to be able to move on to the next world, which is pretty fun. Let's definitely be looking forward to heading off to the next world later, but we got a lot to do here in Peacekeepers. Also, as I said before, with the various worlds also having dragons themed around them, in Peacekeepers, they definitely keep up that motif, as the dragons here are all warriors. As this area is a very war-torn section of the map. So got these guys here with their guns that they're blasting at you, and they're also armed with shields, so we have that to worry about as well. But we also got a thief to take out. Just want to chase after this guy, and when we're close enough, we can shoot you. There we go. Took him out. Very good. Alright. Go after the things we missed along this path. Probably isn't too much, actually. It's got a bunch of these that we can do. These guys are definitely a lot more dangerous since they have artillery with them. So definitely want to be careful when dealing with them. So already seeing at this stage, there's a lot more of the higher grade gems here. Yeah, as we go forward, the amount of gems that you need to collect is going to skyrocket significantly. Which definitely adds to the challenge of these worlds. Conan!
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro.
Probably gonna pass, but still like his design. Now, of course, you can't go wrong with a dragon named Conan. I got some guys up here on the upper path. Let's take you out first, and from this vantage point, we can see there's some stuff we can grab over here, I believe. Yep. I definitely love the look of this cave. It's just so pretty with just the purples and the blues. Nice try, buddy. Ugh. So I got some vultures here to deal with. Some pretty standard stuff all around. But they're definitely increasing the variety of the enemies we encounter. Something else I just really appreciate in this game about the visuals is pretty much all the levels have some unique enemy that you wouldn't find anywhere else in the game. And really shows just all of the love and attention the developers put into making all of these enemies feel so alive. It's very good.
Is that you, Spyro? Are you the young dragon I've been hearing so much about? Ever since you were a wee puff of smoke, we've known,
You've known...
I forget.
I'm gonna pass on that guy. Hopefully that bomb doesn't go off accidentally. I don't know, seeing that guy kind of reminded me of this one bit from the movie Bedknobs and Broomsticks, how just a bunch of older soldiers stationed at this one town where the movie takes place at. I don't know, it just kind of took me back to that moment, as I had recently rewatched that movie a couple months ago. Definitely one I very much treasured from my childhood. And I've also been watching quite a few other movies lately, as I have been just in a real kick to revisit a lot of stuff that I had previously watched when I was younger. And I've also wanted to check out some stuff that I hadn't actually seen for myself. Because very recently, a couple weeks ago, I actually went and rewatched Pinocchio, the actually good movie that Disney released a long time ago. Ooh, we got this box of fireworks there. Simply light them on fire and they explode. I think they might damage you if you're too close to them, so be careful. Alright, now that we're up here, I believe from this point, want to fly over here to grab all the stuff over here. And of course, we got one of these chests that needs a key, so want to remember that for later. Alright, we got all those collectibles. Let's head over this way. But yeah, I watched the original Pinocchio movie from Disney a few weeks ago, and definitely a movie that I still really like a lot. It was definitely one of my favorites when I was a kid, and there is so much to appreciate about it artistically, even to this day. Like, it from it being the second animated movie from Disney, it's just holds up tremendously well and is such an improvement over their first film, which was Snow White, when it comes to the animation. This could probably be something that could be debated about, but you can really see just all the animation techniques that were improved between the two movies, and it's really incredible. Boris!
Dry Canyon rewards good gliders. You are a good glider, eh, Spyro?
I was born to glide.
I like that guy's rattlesnake tail. Also, yeah, that is a smash. I can't help it. I love these dragon designs. How about we go over this way first? Oh, that's actually where the return home pad is. So we're just about done here. Nice try, buddy. But yeah, something else I really appreciate about Pinocchio for its time is that movie is not afraid to go into some really dark territory. Like, it's very much a cautionary tale about warning children to not do certain things, as it could lead to some very bad things for them in the future. And I think it pulls that off pretty well, all things considered. Just a lot of the scenes in that movie are just so good. This part I remember giving me a little bit of trouble. Definitely want to go back to that a bit later. Check out some more of these guys. I love the Gnorcs that are just freaking wielding the vultures as a flail. It's very funny. But yeah, I've had a good time revisiting Pinocchio, and definitely glad I watched that over doing the frickin' over the live-action remake that came out like a few months ago, because, yeah, that one's not good. Not good at all. Do not recommend watching that. Okay, we grabbed that stuff. What are we gonna do about those ones we saw before? There's the return home pad. So I think we just glide over from here and we're able to get over here and grab the key, as well as Maximos.
Incredible glide, Spyro. I thought I'd be stuck here forever with those ugly vultures standing on my head. Those birds might look tough, but they're pretty tasty. Flame broiled with a pinch of salt.
Alright, that guy obviously knows his cooking expertise, which is pretty admirable for a warrior. Also, Smash. I can't help it. I love these guys. Alright, now that we grab the key, there's just one chest we need to grab, and then I think we are done with this stage. Alright, we need to find a way to get back there. Which, considering the layout of this level, we might have to head back through that one tunnel we saw before. Where is it again? I'm just trying to remember how to get through here again. I know we just went through most of this stage, but since I cleared out all the enemies, it's a little tricky to really figure out where I'm supposed to go again. I'm excited for the Guillermo del Toro version. I have heard that it is going to be good, and just from what I've seen in the trailers, it's a phenomenal stop-motion animation. Like, I've always had a soft spot for stop-motion, and this film looks like it's going to be real good. So I love it's not just going to be a retelling of the story of Pinocchio. It's most likely going into some other stuff, which I think is going to be very interesting. So definitely a lot to look forward to with that. Okay, we know how to get back over to this chest, so should have a decent time here. Yep, there we go. And this should be the very last treasure here. Yep, there we go. 400 gems collected. You can really see just how far things have come here. Oh boy, we got ourselves a bot. Just gonna go ahead and... do we really need a reason for doing that? Okay, no, we took care of them. Looks like Gnasty Gnorc was trying to also trap us in the stream alongside just dealing with all the dragons. You're not gonna get me this time, Gnasty! Alright, with that said, yep, we've done everything we need to do in Dry Canyon, so let us head for the portal and get back to Peacekeepers. Alright, so the next stage we're going to do... I just like doing the stages in the order of when I see them, so let's head on over to Cliff Town. This is a very interesting stage, and it's definitely going to be quite interesting to go through. Aw, man, I just already love the music in this stage so much. So we got this Western style Gnorc there with the metal cape, which I love that so much. Just enemy designs in this game are so good. Just got some gems over here to grab right away. As you can see here, we have a lot of buildings we need to maneuver around. And along with that, we also got a lot of Gnorcs as well. So like in this stage how we have our first look at, I believe, female Gnorcs. And seeing them have a more of a matriarchal role in their society with them cooking food for the other Gnorcs, which I find very nice. As you go forward in the game, you do learn a little bit about the Gnorc society very subtly through their actions in the world, which I find is very cool to see the actual culture of these enemies expand as you progress onward. I can already hear that there's a thief around here we gotta take care of. There you are. So this one should be pretty simple, just dashing around a building to get to this guy. How do I feel about going about this? Ow. This one's a little tricky. We're just going around a building, but as small as this area is, it's really not that bad to get. Alright, we got 5 dragon eggs already. Ooh, see some gems over here we need to grab. Alright, and let's go awaken this guy and say what he has to say. Halvor.
How's a dragon supposed to flame metal armor anyway?
Remember, Spyro, flame won't work on metal, but charging with your horns, that should do the trick.
I like that guy, and not just because he's purple. Smash. But yeah, just another reminder that to deal with all the metal armor guys around here, you gotta use your horns. Fire won't work. It's pretty nice these guys are able to craft armor out of just taking some small sheets of metal and using them as a makeshift cape. The Gnorcs are very ingenious, and despite the dragon's assumption that they're just simple and stupid creatures. Again, it definitely makes the conflict of this game pretty interesting, even though it's not really fleshed out all that much. Alright, we can see there's a firework over there. Want to remember that for later. So over here we got another one of these Mama Gnorcs to take out. Also, something to note in this level, those metal cauldrons that the female Gnorcs are at, you also want to breathe fire at the cauldron in order to get a gem out of them. So definitely something to keep in mind about this place. Also, like, the female Gnorcs will sometimes whack one of the smaller Gnorcs in order to get them to charge at you. Man, it definitely has a very cool thing to him. It's very much like, get him. Alright, we have a metal box over here we can't break, and sadly, there is no keyhole on that chest. So, how are we gonna break it open? Well, we're gonna need to make use of something else that can be acquired later on in the level. So here we got some more of these ladies. Sorry, but gotta take you out. There's the return home pad, but we are nowhere near done this stage. We still have a lot to take care of. Definitely finding a lot of yellow gems here. Those are worth 10 units, so definitely some valuable points there. So we got Enzo.
Hey, what's on the other side of that river?
Why don't you glide there and find out?
So I love that guy has, like, gems embedded in his chin. It's pretty interesting. Also, I think... yeah, might as well smash him. Alright, so up here now that we're at the top of the Cliff Town, this is where one of the main gimmicks of this area comes in. In order to get to the various areas of this stage, you need to glide from a higher area in order to get there. And by using our flame on that firework, we're able to send it firing off and have it hit that chest, now allowing us to grab the gems inside. It's very nice how they have all these different vantage points you need to reach in this stage in order to be able to access different things. Definitely adds a lot of layers to this level, and in a way, it's kind of... it's one of those levels that has a lot of backtracking to it, as you will need to go back through some areas in order to be able to access some other stuff, but it's really not too bad. Alright, so now we gotta glide across the river from here. Just gotta be very careful we get across here. Woo, we did it. Alright, want to make sure that we're able to grab as many things up here as we can before we try to get back on the buildings to grab some other stuff. Also want to take out the vultures here. Sparks, aren't you going to grab that? Never mind. Just don't believe there's anything too bad for us to worry about here. Just a couple enemies and some gems to pick up, but nothing too major. I have sealed this guy over here. Again, really gotta give it to the developers of this game with the visuals, because usually it's pretty hard to make a desert level look pretty interesting, but just love the atmosphere of this place. Just those dunes in the background, you got those big puffy clouds in the distance, and just the sky with the various colors it's in, just, it's so pretty. This game is fantastic when it comes to its visuals, and I really recommend that people give this a shot because of that. Here we have Marco.
You've reached the highest point in Clifftown. You can get to almost anywhere from here. If I were you, I'd use that whirlwind over there.
And with that, we've rescued all the dragons in Clifftown. I'm gonna pass on Marco, even though it's nice to see someone with the same name as my Emerald Swellow. So yeah, now that we've rescued him, we now have this whirlwind, which we use to go up to the high level of the stage whenever we want, which is very good for reaching a variety of things that we need up here. Namely, these chests over here. Also, want to bring this up because I just like the design of the character, but now, Marco has always interested me because of his design, where his wings are purely made of metal, so you can get the impression that this guy most likely lost his original wings during battle against the Gnorcs. But the thing that always interested me about the design is because it reminds me of an episode from My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic of all things, where the episode explores a dark future where our Twilight Sparkle visits an alternate version of Equestria, where the entire world is at war. And during a lot of the scenes showcasing the war in that episode, we get to see Rainbow Dash's design in this new world. And her design incorporates her having a mechanical wing to replace one that she supposedly lost during a battle. And just, this is a show for little girls about Technicolor equines, and they have that kind of thing in the show. Like, holy crap. But yeah, that always definitely brought that to mind every time I saw Marco in this game. Hello there, praised big dog. Welcome to the stream. We are playing through Spyro the Dragon, specifically the ReIgnited Trilogy version of the game. Alright, now that we've dealt with that stage, I think the nearest one we can do now is down here. We also have the boss stage over there, but we'll do that in a little bit. Alright, next up is going to be Ice Cavern. This stage is definitely going to be nice. Wow, 2,000 gems already. We have definitely come far since we started our adventure. Yeah, I can definitely see this stream series is probably only going to take a couple sessions to complete. This is nowhere near the half a year's worth of time I spent working on Pokemon Platinum. Yep, we got another stage here, and this one is certainly icier than the rest. Yeah, definitely like the aesthetic of this stage. You can just really feel the cold here, which is very fitting because it is very close to winter in our time right now. I like this guy's design. He just looks so goofy. Take that. Yeah, this stage, you definitely want to watch out for a couple reasons. Some little bats here we can shoot to get their butterflies. Besides that, there's some other things in this area that could be tricky. And want to call attention to them when we see them. For now, let's rescue Ulrich.
A word of caution, little one. Wait until you grow big, like me, before charging those large enemies.
Now, when you say big, either way, smash. I love the music in this stage. It's very nice. So, also like how the Gnorcs in this area are also throwing snowballs as projectiles. That's another cute little detail about this stage. Again, they have to design unique character models and give them all unique animations throughout all of the different levels in this game. And then they have to do the same thing for Spyro 2 and 3. Like, the developers of this game had to do so much in order to make this game as good as it is, and they have my utmost respect for it. It's definitely worth purchasing the game just based on that. Now, respect for the developers. Like, obviously don't feel like you should support Activision because I don't agree with their business practices, but it's still a very worthwhile game to play. Alright, we've got another dragon over here to awaken. Toter. It's a neat name.
Spyro, some big Gnorcs up ahead are wearing armor. And in the ice cave, armor can make their feet very slippery.
That's some good advice. So like that guy's design, we'll give him a smash. Okay, now this I want to pay attention to. You see these posts here with the gems on them. You ram into them in order to get the gems on top of them. This tricked me up so much on my first playthrough of this stage, where I didn't know that that was how you get the gems there. So I was looking all around the stage trying to figure out how I'm supposed to get the gems before I figured that out. But yeah, as that guy noted, you can ram into the enemies here in order to knock them into the pits, because the ground here is very slippery, and we're able to take advantage of that. Very nice. Also want to be careful because there's bottomless pits here, and could be very bad if you were to slip here. This room should be pretty basic. It's got that guy to take out, and then we can collect the treasure. Woo! Alright, see what this guy has to say. Ondor. Isn't that a new show on Disney Plus? Oh.
Thank you for releasing me.
Yeah, that is a smash from me. Just, oh boy. I know this specific thing that I am doing for this Spyro the Dragon playthrough may seem a little weird to some viewers, but I don't know, it's just something that I feel is very funny, and also I just want to state when I do really admire and appreciate the character designs in this game, and for a lot of the dragons I do feel that way. But at the same time, just also nice to appreciate them, because I don't know, these days I'm trying to be a lot more open about my sexuality, and having this game feature mostly a lot of very hunky male characters in it, just, oh man. I can definitely just really get a kick out of that. So here we got Asher.
Thanks for freeing me, Spyro. And now, where was I?
That is the most swole elderly guy I've ever seen. I'm gonna give him a pass, but goddamn. I got some more armored guys to deal with here. And we shouldn't be that much further until we're done this stage. Ow. Also, like, this guy has skis in order to get around here. It's another cute detail. Can we blast one of these bats? One of you guys would get closer so that I could deal with that. Does that guy actually have to ram multiple times in order to get him? But it's okay. It's got another one of these snowball guys to take out. Some more posts we gotta hit. God, I can't believe that these things stumped me so much on my first playthrough. Like, it really isn't that hard to figure out how to get those gems. Alright, now we've taken care of that. Can we zap you, please? Thank you. Alright, shouldn't be much farther until we're done here. It's got this armored guy to knock out. And then we got this snowball. Alright, only a little bit more to do. So let's rescue Ragnar. That's a cool name. Ooh.
You've done well, Spyro. Some dragons thought you weren't ready, but I knew they were wrong.
I'm ready, all right. Ready for what?
But he's very nice. Also, yep, that's gonna be a smash. I can't help it, okay? So many hunky dragons. Alright, there's the return home pad. So, just got a few things that we need to clear out here, and then we're done. Which I must say, just revisiting this stage again, I just love the aesthetic of it so much. The challenges here are pretty decent. I definitely grown an appreciation for this stage. I know that ice levels are typically not a lot of people's favorite levels, but I don't know, between the aesthetics of them and some of the challenges we need to do here, I felt that they did a good job of this stage. Okay, that said, what are we gonna do to get the last couple of things here? I want to think about this. So we got that stuff over there. Actually, those are just extra lives, so that's really not going to be that important. Yeah, Spark's telling us to go over here to get the last remaining treasure. So yep, shouldn't be much farther before we're done here. So I'm thinking what we should do is hop up here. And want to stay on top of this. Ow. Well, I did a good job of that, didn't I? Okay, there's that we need to get over to. So I'm thinking that we need to double back to an earlier section here in order to reach that. So now that we're over here, I believe we want to head up here, glide over this way, and now that we're over here by this chest, you can see over this way that there's the key we need, as well as a few gems. So I'm gonna fly over down, get careful, and we grab the key. Alright, that should be all we need to finish up the stage now. So now we just need to double on back to the chest, and we should be done. I'm really hoping right now I haven't missed any gems, because this would be a very poor point in the stage for us to have missed something. Pretty much comb like every corner of this place, so really can't think of any other place where there is a gem for us. Alright, let's bust open this chest. There we go. So that is all the gems. Alright, so we have fully completed this level. It's a little ways until the end of level gate, so we're just gonna exit the level. It's perfectly fine if you just exit the level from the menu. You don't have to worry about losing out on all the gems you collected, because they still get transferred in. Alright, so that is very nice there. Given our current time, we're just under an hour and a half. I'm thinking... Given our remaining options here, I think we just have 2 stages left to do in this area. Yeah, and given how much time we have in this game, and we're only going to be playing this game for a couple sessions, yeah, I think now would be a good time to stop. We've taken care of a lot of the things we can do here in the Peacekeepers, and just got a few more stages to do before we're done here, and we can move on to the next stage. So, yep, I think this was a very productive first session of our playthrough. Right, thank you for joining me on the first session of what I know is going to be a very special journey of us revisiting all of the classic Spyro the Dragon games. I definitely had a lot of fun in this session, and I hope you have fun seeing what else we have in store for us. Next time, when we revisit Spyro the Dragon, we'll be finishing up the Peacekeepers and then making our way to the next stage. Until next time, have a good day and take care.